and something a little bit different for you today. I'm going to show you something. It's about 7 minutes long. If it captures your interest and you stick around to the end of it, then I've got a message for you. And if not, if it's a bit boring for you, not a problem. Things will be back to normal here on the next video. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the human race is a truly wonderful thing and has produced some pretty unique people during its existence. Isaac Newton, for example, summed up our spirit of scientific progress when he said, "If I see further, it's only because I stand on the shoulders of the giants who have come before me." Richard Feynman summed up the spirit of science itself when he said, "I would rather have a question that cannot be answered than an answer that cannot be questioned." And this bloke from Twitter summed up the spirit of speaking before thinking when he said, now, human stupidity isn't just limited to Twitter, even if it might seem like that sometimes. Now, if you know me, you'll know that when I'm not praising the one true good, I love to listen to stupid stories, especially stupid stories where stupid people get what they deserve. But today's story is far more sinister than most. It's about a dishonest person fooling many stupid people in power, resulting in many deaths, and all for money. Strap in, because if you don't know this story, you will not believe how crazy this gets. In the 1990s, a guy called Wade Quattlebaum decided he wanted to make a device to help him find his balls. Apparently, he kept losing them every time he smashed them into a bush like this. But finding golf balls isn't easy. They are small and far away, and finding them in the rough can be as difficult to a golfer as it is for a flat earther to work out which hole in their shoes they're meant to put their feet in. Anyway, Wade Quattlebaum decided that the best way to make a golf ball finder was to not make a golf ball finder and sell it anyway. After all, people will buy any old rubbish. So that's what Wade did. He didn't invent a golf ball finder. Instead, he just put this load of tosh together instead. Essentially, it's an FM radio aerial on a swivel, and it contains zero electronics or technology of any kind whatsoever. The aerial is fitted so loosely that it swings around with ease, like a dowsing rod would. And the idea was very similar. It will basically swing around because of magic and point to where any golf ball could be found. Now, no batteries were needed in this, as it was powered, get this, by static electricity generated by the human body during breathing. Now, it is at this point in the video, I do want to say to you that if you believe that this thing had any chance of working at all, I'd like you to stop watching now. I want you to take a long, hard look at yourself, cry some tears of shame, take down your posters of this guy from the wall, and grow the f*** up. Now, in an ideal world, this is where the story would end, with nobody buying this piece of junk. But in the real world, this is just the start of the craziness. You see, this golf ball finder was soon rebranded as something called the Quadro Tracker and was sold for $8,000 per unit. That's right, $8,000. $8,000. A number 7,999 higher than your average flat earther can even count to. And who was it sold to? It was sold to school boards. Real world actual school boards bought this for $8,000 a pop. People responsible for the education and safeguarding of children bought these for $8,000. But what did they buy them for? They bought them to detect drugs, alcohol and guns in schools. They actually believed that if they inserted a card that basically said drugs on it, for example, it would point to some drugs. Real world teachers were walking around real world schools waving this crap around looking for weapons and narcotics. Now, if I was to tell you that just in Texas alone, the police and schools joined together to waste over $1 million on this equipment, you wouldn't believe me. So I'm not going to tell you that. I'll just show you this instead. Now that wasn't the craziest part. Things are going to get a whole lot worse. Anyway, enter the FBI. The FBI investigate the Quadro Tracker and they ban its sale. Now before it was banned, somebody who bought the Quadro Tracker for £10,000 was Happy Sacks from Raggy Dolls. No, sorry, I mean Fat Ned Flanders from The Simpsons. No, sorry, I mean Jim McCormack, retired police officer from Somerset, England. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, Kat, that's not like you to get personally insulting about somebody's appearance, and you'd be right. But by the time you've watched the end of this video, you'll be tempted to leave some personally insulting comments about Jim McCormack in this comment section as well. And feel free. And may I suggest something along the lines of, Jim McCormack, you're so stupid you felt proud after finishing a jigsaw puzzle in 10 months, when on the box it said 1 to 2 years. So what did Jimbo do when he realised he'd been conned out of £10,000? Well, he decided to con the world back, no matter how many people it killed. Classy Jim. Yes, Jim decided to make his own version of the Quadro Tracker and sell it. He called it the ADE 651, the Advanced Detection Equipment, and told people that it was capable of detecting bombs. And as unlikely as it sounds, Jim McCormack, or the suspected love child of Ned Flanders and Jabba the Hutt, managed to actually convince real-world governments to buy this product and supply it to their army, most notably the Iraqi government, who spent over £53 million on his ADE 651. And in 2009, Happy Sacks was sat at home safe in the knowledge that his ADE 651 was being used by the Iraqi military at checkpoints to prevent the movement of bombs and reduce the risk of terrorism in Iraq. So it will have come as no surprise whatsoever to Somerset's answer to Dexter Jetster that in 2009, a 26-seater bus carrying a ton of explosives managed to pass every single checkpoint on its way to the Ministry of Justice in Baghdad without being stopped, where it immediately exploded, killing 155 people in a matter of seconds. Of course, that was just one of many similar events. Nobody can put a fixed figure on the number of lives lost because of Jim McCormack and his greed. And for those of you that like to see a very happy ending where justice is served, you might be slightly disappointed to know that Jim McCormack is already out of prison, where he seems to be leading a very intimate life with just him and his lawnmower. Now, if you cast your mind back to the beginning of this video, you'll remember that I said that this was a story about human stupidity, and we have now arrived at the most stupid part. Despite the fact that these devices were spectacularly shown not to work in 2009, despite the fact that Jim McCormack was sentenced as a conman in 2013, this image here, taken in late 2016, shows the ADE 651 still in active use by the Iraqi military, detecting bombs at checkpoints. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for making it this far into the video. If you would like a regular dose of stupidity and crazy stories in your subscriptions feed, then please find somewhere on the page that subscribe button. I will be back every single Sunday on this channel. Bye. So what you've just seen there is one of my first videos on a new channel called Culture Cats, and I've linked that in the description. Now, Culture Cats will be releasing videos like that every single week, and I just wanted to make you aware it's there if that is your kind of cup of tea. A lot of people who have already been to the channel have been asking me why am I splitting the channel into so many different parts? There is a reason for that. Essentially, the Conspiracy Cats channel is very, very much built in a community around flat Earth debunking, that kind of thing. And that's going to be a very different community, obviously. We're going to be looking at all sorts of different topics in a very sort of unique way. It's been no secret that I've not been very active on this channel. I'm just so unbelievably busy in real life. And when I am active on this channel, I like to put videos out that you expect to see on this channel, that, you know, with the silly songs at the end and the skits and the comments. I don't have time in my real life to make those videos as often as I'd like to, but I do have the time every single week to make the videos like the one you've just seen. So that channel, the Culture Chats channel, will be my active channel. I'm going to try and build a community over there, and then when I do make a regular Conspiracy Cats type video, this is where you're going to see that for now. So that's it, really. Thank you for sticking around, and goodbye.